Okay, thank you all for coming. I'm going to open the meeting, call the meeting to order, and stand up for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all for coming, and I just want to ask all of you to put your phones on airplane mode, not on silent. Airplane mode will not interfere with our ability to do Wi-Fi and with what are we doing? And audio, yeah. Okay. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So passes. I need a motion to approve the regular minutes of February 14th, 2023.
Motion to approve the regular minutes from February 14th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So passes. I need a motion to approve the regular minutes of February 17th, 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes, the regular minutes of February 17th, 2023.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So passes. And finally, I need a motion to approve the regular minutes of February 28th, 2023.
Motion to approve the regular minutes from February 28th, 2023.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So passes. Thank you. We're going to move to communications and presentations. Chief Johnson, I think you're going to give us a presentation on the letter you sent us.
Can you hear me without having that in my face?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Bennington for having us here today, and the council members, town manager Hawk for having us. Allowing me to speak in front of you today. My name is Walter Johnson. I'm the current fire chief of Millville Fire Department and a 20+ year member of that department. I've been a lifelong resident of Ocean View, Delaware for 47 years, and my mom still lives on West Avenue, and she has since 1959. My father, John Johnson, was on the town council here from 1979 and 1997, was mayor, police commissioner, auxiliary police officer here as well. And just a little fun fact, a little pavilion out there with the picnic tables was named after him. So that was my father. That was dedicated to him in 1997. And that's something that he wanted to see for this town, because he obviously loved this town and wanting kids and residents and family and everybody to come enjoy the park like my family does. But enough about me. I'm here today to request an increase to our current emergency and services enhancement funding program, or in terms the ambulance service contract, from $35 to $50. The current $35 contract has been since the inception of this program. And currently, we have 5 additional contracts with surrounding developments and also with the town of Millville, which we are asking for each of those to be increased to $50 going forward. Our current annual subscription fee is $75 that we charge for this subscription service outside of the contracted areas. With this continued contract subscription, the residents of Ocean View will not receive a bill for ambulance service. If they have medical insurance, their insurance company will be billed. In 2020, we added 4th ambulance to our fleet to better serve our residents and the communities in the towns of Ocean View and Millville. That cost of that ambulance new is around $400,000 to $450,000 range, give or take all the stuff. When you outfit it, it's well over $500,000. We currently employ 15 full-time firefighters and EMTs and several part-time employees at an estimated annual payroll cost of about $1.5 million. I'll give you a brief perspective on how busy our area has been over the last couple of years, and what we've done in this area. In 2017 for Ocean View, we ran 261 calls in town. 2018, we ran 253. In 2019, we ran 306. 2020, we ran 298. 2021, we ran 345. And in 2022, we ran 349. The average ambulance calls for us for a year has increased dramatically, from 2,300 calls to about 2,700 calls. And everybody knows this area has grown so much that we've had to, in the summertime, do additional costs for part-time employees just to staff our third and fourth ambulance and fire apparatus. So as you can see where we are in a standpoint for our contract, the contract for Ocean View runs out on April 30th, as well as Millville and a couple of our surrounding communities. So I just want to thank you for allowing us to speak on this topic today. We appreciate the consideration of this matter that we put for you for the letter that we gave the town manager. So
Thank you. So the five other communities, or the five communities that you sent letters to,
yeah,
are they all agreed?
we've sent a letter. Their contracts are up in a monthly. Got one that's in the end of next month also, and then it's a staggering effect of May, July, August. So all of them have been notified by letter. We've notified the town of Millville. We're on the docket for that. Actually, tonight, my president is going to that town council meeting. And we're on the vote for next month for that increase for them as well. So all of them have been notified. It's across the board. It's not just the town of Ocean View or the town of Millville. It's all the incorporated contracts that we have outside of here.
Okay. Thank you.
You want me to speak on the services grant?
Yeah, does anybody have any other questions about that? And are you inclined to vote now, or do you want to?
Is it not on the agenda later?
No, I'm talking about the ambulance.
Okay, I think we are going to make a decision and vote on that next time.
That's fine. The contract for Ocean View is April 30th. So we just wanted to get on this meeting a month ahead instead of coming here in April and trying to.
No, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Second, we apply, last one, so small. Second is for the emergency services enhancement funding grant that we have applied for the town of Ocean View. And Millville Fire Company is a 501c4 community nonprofit organization in its 87th year of providing fire and rescue services, and our 67th year of providing emergency medical services to the town of Ocean View, as well as to the town of Millville and other unincorporated areas that make up Millville Fire District. It is the mission of Millville Volunteer Fire Department to provide the highest level of life-saving services to the communities that we serve. Currently, the company operates out of two stations, the headquarters being 35554 and then Gavino, and the substation being on our road at Clarksville. We currently have 90 active members, as well as 15 career EMS employees. We operate 3 engine companies, a pumper, a rescue, another engine, a tractor trailer tanker, a brush truck, 2 utility vehicles, 4 EMS BLS units, 24-foot rescue boat, and a command vehicle. We handled 2,562 emergency calls in 2022, 1,507 transports. In addition, we handled over 470 fire rescue calls at the same time period, all being a volunteer/career fire department. Millville Fire Company has always had a close working relationship with the town of Ocean View by being the primary provider for fire, EMS, and rescue emergency medical services since our organization was founded in 1936. The Millville Volunteer Fire Company participates in town events as well as the town of Ocean View with the town of Ocean View Police Department. Millville Fire Department has worked closely with the Ocean View Police Department preparing emergency plans for the Lord Baltimore Elementary School. Joint training was also conducted with the police department to prepare for active assailant scenarios. Each year in October, the Millville Fire Department educates local school children by participating in the National Fire Prevention Week at Lord Baltimore. This week-long event allows firefighters to speak to children about fire safety in their home, dialing 911, exit drills in the home, dangerous playing with matches, stop, drop, and roll, as well as how to use fire extinguishers and kitchen safety. Millville Fire Department has responded to 90 rescue EMS calls and 349 emergency medical calls for a total of 439 calls in the town of Ocean View last year. The Millville Fire Department is requesting $80,000 in assistance from the town of Ocean View Emergency Enhancement Fund in order to purchase an E1 engine tanker. This tanker will replace our 2004 American LaFrance engine tanker. The American LaFrance company is no longer in business or production to these fire engines, therefore parts are extremely difficult to find. Anytime that engine breaks down or is out of service, we have no way to, we have to basically try to modify a part or anything to fix that. At any time, if something happens to that pump or something happens to the fire operations of that truck, it's pretty much useless to us because we just have no, we can't fix it. That company out of South Carolina went out of business, and American LaFrance was around over 100 years. So it's hard to find anything for that engine anymore. E1 engine tanker would be equipped with a Cummins 525 X12 with an Allison 4000 transmission, water capacity of 22,530 gallons, 1,500 GPM Hale Q-Max pump, 6.2 hose bed, with a total purchase of $954,317. We expect delivery of that apparatus in December of 2023 or January 2024, depending on just setbacks and anything that's not able to be done at a current rate. As a 501c4 community nonprofit organization, we rely on donations, grant money, as well as state and county funding to help us meet our goals. The Millville Volunteer Fire Company would struggle to purchase vital equipment and improvements without assistance of this town. That's the truth. These capital improvements will enhance our operations, protect the citizens of Ocean View, and keep enhancement money directly within the town where it's best utilized.
Thank you. Do you receive any grants for purchasing equipment?
We just got a FEMA grant for a climate event system. Our fire department was built in 1986, and current standards for a fire department have to have a climate event is an air system that is attached to each piece of apparatus. Obviously, firemen have one of the highest rates for cancer. Doesn't matter if it's in a fire scene or emissions or anything like that. We secured a grant for that, which was about a 1.5 year long process, a lot of paperwork, a lot of late nights trying to get that done, but it is an air filter system that has a hose attached to the engine. When that engine starts, it sucks that air right out of the building. There's no emissions in that building that can be inhaled by any firefighter. Or, you know, when you used to start those up in the firehouse, you would probably smell that for an hour or two, which is not the healthiest thing with people or, you know, with our employees living there. And but that's really the first big grant that we got that was designated for that station that we could, you know, from FEMA, that we worked hard to get that.
So you don't get any grants from the state or from the federal government on purchasing trucks?
No.
Mm.
We do it. We rely on county funding, state funding, grants that we get from both towns. We try to put that towards stuff that we actually need, that is apparatus that we have to have. That, you know, obviously the boat that you guys got us was, you know, a 22-year boat that we had that was not safe at all to go out there in the middle of the night to get somebody off a rescue. As many a times there's been 4 people on that boat that probably shouldn't have been out there at 2 o'clock in the morning, but we went out there because we have to. Grant wise, we rely on Ocean View, we rely on Millville. The FEMA one was the first one. We've applied for a second FEMA grant for air packs. Our air packs, 37 air packs is about 350,000 just to get them. And that's the most vital thing that we have, because obviously we didn't have an air pack. We can't go in there and save somebody's life. We've applied for that. That's a while out. We just wanted to get ahead of that 2-year game, because all our air packs, 32 of them at the firehouse within 2 years can't use them anymore.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Chief, for all that you do to make the citizens of not only Ocean View, but the surrounding areas safe. Just a couple questions. How much has been raised towards the purchase of this new engine so far?
I don't know. We have a capital. Yeah, we got a capital campaign that's probably. You can't quote me, but I think probably around less, maybe close to 200,000, just in donations, and all of it's donations. We have a campaign that we send a mailer out to. You can donate $20, if you can donate $10, if you can donate $5, that goes into a capital campaign that we have to offset that cost for that. It's almost $1 million to purchase that fire truck. We're nowhere near that, but we're, we have that campaign out there. We've had that out there for about 1.5 years.
Okay. And the mayor asked a question, and just to follow up on that. Are there federal grants out there for local volunteer police, fire departments for equipment such as the engine? So that's the one question. And then number two, will Millville continue to explore the opportunity, not in lieu of your request from the town? I think the more the better for you guys. But are there grants out there that Millville will continue to go after?
Answer the first question. We, as a 501, as our nonprofit, we can, through FEMA, we are only allowed to file for, we can only go to one grant at a time. We can't go for multiple grants. We're just like the public. If we have to go finance an engine, then we're going to go just like everybody else does. We're going to go to the bank and we're going to try to finance that engine with payments. We don't have there's no process that we have found that we could go buy $1 million fire truck with a grant or offset that cost with that, because we have to still follow state and local regulations that we have for buying that. We rely on donations. That's how we buy stuff. The grant that we have now that we just filed with FEMA, that's the only grant that we can apply for. We cannot apply for multiple grants at one time because we are only allowed to do that one at a time. So we took what our biggest expense was in the coming years that we probably need ASAP, and that air pack was that's a key item that we really need to focus on and pay for. So.
Chief, thank you very much. And again, thank you so much for everything you do to the community. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on to the reports, the financial report by Fox, please.
Thank you. Before you have the monthly financial update, as of February 28th, we've collected 99.86% of the current year taxes. I did want to make a note that notices of assessment changes were mailed on February 15th, and citizens had until March 7th to appeal. The town assessor is currently speaking with anyone who's called in, and we currently have one property scheduled for a formal appeal on March 22nd at 1 p.m. Onto our balances for our reserve and committed funds. Our emergency reserve trust fund has a balance of $1,036,593. The capital replacement trust fund has a balance of $1,158,734. Street repair and replacement trust has $3,856,552. I've done a recap for the American Rescue Plan Act, giving you what's been purchased or encumbered for the amount, how much was it? 1.2 million that we received. Right now we have a balance remaining of $618,415. The emergency services enhancement funding as of the end of February is based on 23 new home construction permits with a balance of $1.1 million. Our transfer taxes, of course, these are as of January. We did just receive February's tax sales yesterday. As of January 31st, 30% from new construction, with 3.1% from land sales and 66.9% from resales of existing homes. This comes out to be 27 new constructions 82 resales of existing homes and 12 land sales. February sales, were again decreased with a little over 24,000. So we are looking behind right now, but right now scheduled for March and April, we have quite a few closings coming in back up to normal. On pages 3 and 4, you have your revenue and expenditure financial reports for period 10. We are at 68% of utilization. Normal utilization would be around 83%. I did want to do just a quick FY24 budget, kind of the calendar recap. On February 13th, we submitted the proposed FY24 budget to council. On February 28th, we had the public input and the town council budget workshop was held, and it was recommended by council for us to move forward with the budget as proposed. Today, we're requesting that the budget ordinances be introduced as proposed with an operating budget of 5.9 million and capital budget of 4.5 million. And then on April 11th, we will have our public hearing and possible vote to adopt the budget. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions from the town council?
No,
Steve?
no, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Don. Moving on to public safety report.
Yes, Mayor, you got a copy of our stats from February in front of you. If you have any questions. A couple quick highlights. The police department implemented the Take Care of Delaware initiative in February. That's a program done in conjunction with the State Department of Services for Children and Youth and their families. It's a trauma-informed initiative. The program promotes school and community partnerships to help children exposed to trauma receive support so they can succeed in school. I attended the League of Local Governments meeting. I think most everyone knows that I represent the league on several commissions. Primarily ones dealing with the opioid abuse and soon to be the upcoming or the current marijuana legislation that's being exposed. We have applicant testing that's ongoing to fill one vacancy. We don't anticipate that vacancy will be filled until the fall. We may possibly ask for an applicant to be hired as a seasonal officer for the summer prior to attending the police academy in the fall. But it's still a little bit premature. We had the first planning meeting for the 2023 Chamber of Commerce Ocean Bay budget event. That's going to be held on Saturday, April 29th. Part of the course includes Woodland Avenue extended between Central and West. We do have plans to close one lane of travel between 7:30 and 9:30 in the morning on April 29th. Should not be a problem. We've done that many times in the past and it's not been an issue. The police department is partnering with Help Initiative, which is a group that's actually based here in Ocean View. And we're working with them to start a license plate reader deployment program along the Route 26 corridor. And that's it. I'll be happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you. Any questions for the chief?
I have one, Mr. Mayor. Chief, when do we take delivery of the new police dog?
The two K-9 officers are scheduled to go to North Carolina to the kennels in May 1st. And they will both be down there for 3 to 4 weeks. And when they return, they will return with the 2 new police dogs. Both the dogs I anticipate will be working on the streets by the 1st of June.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
Chief, did you want to mention the March 16th coffee with a cop?
Oh, yeah, March 16th, this Thursday. We're doing our first coffee with the cops and we're getting a lot of good feedback, so I anticipate a good crowd. We're gonna have donuts with the coffee. So if anybody's interested, please stop by the police department at 9 o'clock on March 16th.
Is that all you can drink?
Or you can drink.
More importantly, is it can all you can eat.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Moving on to planning and zoning and development in Seminole.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Want to just hit the highlights of mostly our capital improvement program. The design of the final segment of sidewalks along Woodland Avenue between Hudson Avenue and Daisy Avenue, it continues, and that should wrap up here sometime late spring. Design of the final phase of drainage improvements at Country Estates, that's also ongoing and should wrap up here in late spring. Design of the final phase of drainage improvements in Woodland Park will continue with our new funding here in FY24. This next project's an important project. We're designing improvements to the entrance of the Wedgefield community at Central Avenue, and it is complete. It's a project that myself and Chief McLaughlin have been working on, and it includes widening the right turn lane from Central Avenue into Wedgefield, which would allow for the bus company to traverse the narrow Wedgefield Boulevard with a 48-foot bus. They don't have a 40-foot bus available. They use a 48-foot bus for this particular pickup. Currently, the children, the parents sit up along Wedgefield Boulevard at Central Avenue and drop the kids off, and then in the evening they get dropped off on the Bear Trap Dune side of Central Avenue and have to cross Central Avenue. So this project will eliminate that safety hazard and enable the bus companies to go into Wedgefield and pick the kids up at the community center. So it's an important project, and it's not an expensive project. I think the cost of this project for construction is estimated to be around $40,000. Construction of the Hudson Avenue Pipe Culvert project continues. This project to install 34-inch by 54-inch Class 5 elliptical reinforced concrete pipe under the roadway. The pipe has been completed. That was the last section in your packet shown being installed. The project, quite frankly, has been particularly challenging. The contractor's working in a small area. It's 100 foot wide by about 100 foot wide. It's full of every utility that we have running up and down the street, which they unfortunately have struck many times, even though they've been relocated. So we're moving along, and we're hopeful to wrap up in about 2 weeks and things will get back to normal down there. Construction of Country Village and Country Estates drainage project continues in Country Village. We've completed the work in Country Estates. Crews are actively constructing drainage soil and pipe crossings in our South Primrose Lane, Bridle Lane, and Windmill Lane. The project should wrap up by the end of the month, 1st of April. And just as a heads up, we're contemplating adding some additional work to this project at a cost of probably my initial estimate is about $35,000 for the additional spending we want to add to this. Planning and development. We've got some developments at the OGB Beach Club. Their project continues to move towards completion. The 2 villa units currently under construction. They're being managed by Nally Ventures, which I believe is now called Nally Builders for this portion of the Convergence project. What's come up here lately is they seem to be attempting to sell individual portions of condo parcels. So, for example, there's a condo parcel, I believe it's condo parcel A. It sits up along the road at Muddy Neck Road. It's where the community center is and the pool. Well, in front of that pool, there are 3 condo units to be constructed. We've had some folks coming in and inquiring about those 3 units. Looking to buy them from Convergence. Right now, we're not getting a whole lot of straight answers from the developer or his representatives. We're lining up a meeting with the town solicitor and the town engineer to kind of discuss the questions that they've asked us, so we can give them the proper responses. Also planning to develop, have some really good news on 2 projects we talked briefly about. Last month, town manager and I met with staff from DelDOT regarding the DelDOT's Transportation Alternatives Program. And we received 2 grants. The grant for the Burzins Nature Center is for design and construction of the project. It's an 80-20 grant where DelDOT pays 80% of the cost. The town of Ocean View will pay 20% of the cost. At this time, our estimates of the money that we'll get are somewhere between $850,000 and $950,000 alone just for that project. And then the other project we had that we put in for a grant from DelDOT's TAP program was the Daisy Avenue, Woodland Avenue intersection improvement project. That project's it's been designed to sit on the shelf. Could have went out for bid last fall, but we've been working through this process with DelDOT. And on Monday, we finally got details of that grant. And it's also an 80-20 grant. We'll get 80% of the funding for construction engineering, construction management, and the actual construction of the project. And our estimate at this time, you don't know what the bid amount for the project's going to be until you bid it. But our estimate is somewhere in the neighborhood of $450,000 that this grant should be worth. Rest of the stuff we have are code enforcement permits and businesses and rental licenses.
Thank you. I have a question on the Wedgefield widening of the street in order to get the bus in there. Once the bus is in there, are they going to be able to get out? Because those streets are pretty narrow.
No, the problem with the entrance is it has that center island in it. So it narrows, even though we have 70 for the right of way, you have that huge center island with all the trees in it. And the lanes are actually only slightly over 11, almost 12 feet. You get into the community, the lanes, the roads widen out to 24 feet. Parking restricted to one side of the roadway. So it's actually Wedgefield Boulevard. It's a clean loop around. Do you know the name of the street, Chief? In the back on the left? No, I think it's maybe Somerville Court. Yeah, Somerville. Yes, it comes back around and comes out. Pick the kids up at the community center and then come back out, make the right and get out. We've met with the bus contractor and Indian River School District and been told that the bus can navigate. We also had our engineering firm simulate the turning movements through a program they had that does turning radiuses, and it shows that the bus can make all the movements.
Okay, and when that project is finished, the buses will go into Wedgefield.
Yes.
And will they cross the road and go back into Bear Trap for those kids who live in Bear Trap?
I don't know where they go from there.
Well, what we've done before is we discharged the Bear Trap kids in the main parking lot there in Bear Trap in the vicinity of the post office.
And that's going to continue?
Yeah, I would imagine it will have to, because right now it's kind of a situation where children from both neighborhoods are using the same bus stop. But that's probably going to change. And it'll do a pickup in each neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Ken?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Moving on to the town manager's report.
Yes, thank you. So Dawn gave an update about the budget, which I think kind of clarifies everything. I just want to add a couple of things. Of course, the budget ordinance is on later in this meeting for mayor and council to consider. Again, with the direction given at the workshop to not make any changes to the proposed budget. Again, also, public hearing, April 11th, next council meeting, with a possibility of adoption of the budget and the tax rate, which has been recommended to remain the same at 0.2378 of $100 assessed property value. So I just want to, I think we gave you a good highlight of where we're at with the budget, FY24 budget. Bear Trap Dunes, efforts have begun in Bear Trap Dunes to convert from propane to natural gas with Chesapeake Utilities. Many of you know that our admin building at 201 Central is part of this conversion. Because we currently have our propane supplied through Bear Trap as well. We are going to move forward and do the conversion as well. All of our HVAC, hot water heaters and generator have been identified that they can make the conversion without too much effort. The cost associated with is $2,842 for the conversion to take place with Chesapeake, and we have the funds available in our building repair funds to make this happen. I expect that this likely will happen in 2 months' time. Right now, we're waiting for Generac parts that there's delays. Yeah. Open Space Partnership in Sussex County. Ken and I are set to make a presentation to Sussex County next week, during which time we will share all the good information about the Berzins property. Ken just highlighted all the grants. We also got a Parks and Recreation grant of $60,000. And we're hoping that Sussex County will see fit to join us and participate as a partner to help us get that new land that we purchased developed into the Berzins Nature Center area. So lots of momentum, and they're welcoming us to their meetings. So we're hoping some of their outdoor recreation funds that they have will come on board as well. So we'll keep you posted on that. Spring Fling, we have a new event, brand new, May 6th this year from 1 to 4. It'll be here in John West Park. There's a lot of excitement. The title of the event is Spring Fling. Everything to do with spring is coming on board. We're having a lot of fun with it. The staff has been very much participating in all the planning. We're getting very good support from the local community. Millville Fire is going to be there. We have our troop, Scout Troop 281, who's on board again to handle all the food. There'll be a big band playing. There'll be lots of fun things going on. So we're happy about this, and stay tuned for all the final details. It'll be very similar to the Old Town event, only with a different season of theme, if you will. So let's see, skip a couple things. I did provide you highlights on various legislative initiatives of the League of Local Governments that the league is responding to. I think, as you know, I have served on for quite some time the legislative advocacy committee for the league. So there's a lot of things going on. Some of the bills, just the recreational marijuana bill is of concern to the towns in the state of Delaware. The zero emissions transportation initiative is also a concern. Also looking for an increased funds to the municipal street aid, which is split among all the towns and cities in the state. It's stayed at $6 million since 2000, and the league is pushing for that to go up to $10 million. Of course, our share would go up proportionately as well. So other than that, I'll just leave it at that, except I do have a few more things that just came in or just hit the paper. I do want to point out that our candidates night associated with the election of April 8th has been set just recently for March 29th at 6 p.m. here. There's flyers in the back, and there'll be ads in the paper the next 2 weeks to let our community know. I do have three other, I set some new information at your tables. Just wanted to share, we got a nice letter from the Night to Shine team from the Ocean View Church of Christ. Of course, Mayor and Council approved the donation of $1,000 for their Tim Tebow Night to Shine event that occurred earlier this year. So that thank you note I shared, I thought waiting till next month with the information would be kind of stale. We also got a nice thank you from the chamber, the Quiet Resorts Chamber, in regards to the town's support of Fire and Ice. And then they also have a, I kind of call it a fact sheet or outcome sheet of the impact of the event on the community. It was very highly attended. The beer garden that was held in our park raised $5,900 for BB Healthcare South Coastal Emergency Center. And then if you look at some of the surveys that they did, the outcomes, 85% of the people who were surveyed said they will return to the Quiet Resorts, including Ocean View again. 70% shopped locally while they were here. 70% dined locally while they were here. 57% were first time attending Fire and Ice, so it's growing. And then interesting is the occupancy rates. If you look at it, although we don't have any hotels here in Ocean View, I think it's interesting. It shows the amount of people that are coming to the communities, all the communities for this event. So wanted to share that while it was hot off the press. And then last but not least, April 22nd from 8 to 12 p.m. the Coastal Delaware community cleanup will take place. All the information is here. We'll be helping to share this information. And at this point in time, it looks like we may be hosting by hosting, I mean allowing it to be at our park here, a couple of roll-offs for people to make it easy for people in our communities to be able to come dispose of things as opposed to going, to other places that are further away. And that is funded by the chamber and all of their partners. Okay, so we'll be fine-tuning that information before that. And I think that's it. I'd be happy to answer questions about this or anything else before we move on.
Any questions? Town manager?
No.
I just have one question. I don't know what the bunny in relaxed mode means.
So our event is after Easter. Okay. A decision that we made because the town of Millville, our neighboring community, started last year when we were planning to, behind the scenes thinking we were going to have an ACON in the town. They started having an ACON. So instead of competing with each other, we decided, let's move our event around and, spread the activities that are available. And so we are still going to have a bunny, but he'll be in his vacation mode. Okay, so the rest you'll have to wait and see.
Okay.
Okay, and there may even be a visitor that typically shows up at our old time event as well.
Okay.
The staff is being very creative. I can tell you that much.
All right. I don't want to give away the surprise.
Yeah.
Were you going to do the public works report?
Public Works, I can do that. Just that normally it's been attached to mine. We won't have Jared come to the meetings, but we'll provide you the information the same way. If anybody has any questions about anything on that report, I'd be happy to answer that as well, or attempt to.
I do have one thing to add that I omitted. Construction of the sidewalks on Woodland Avenue from Evans Avenue, which is pretty much the entrance to the Ocean View Brewing Company, to Hudson Avenue, will begin next Monday, March 20th.
Good.
Anticipated it'll take 4 to 6 weeks. The road will be closed to through traffic. So, school buses will still be able to get down the road. The fire service will still be able to get down the road. everybody will be able to get to their residential units.
Thank you. The next is the fire, the overall forms, the fire department company report. I got the report here in front of me. There were 222 total calls in the month of January, and 211. I'm sorry, 222 calls, January 23, compared to 211 calls in January 22. In all that, we had 32 in the town of Ocean View in 23 January, and 31 in January of 22. For February, 211 calls, February 23 compared to 186 in February 22. And town of Ocean View had 29 in February 23 and 23 in February 22. So as Chief Johnson had mentioned, the calls are increasing. Anything else before we go to citizens privilege?
Just a quick question to Chief. Chief, do they reevaluate fire districts periodically? In other words, because I know there's a lot of construction going in your district, especially in the Millville area. I mean, do they try to spread the load out? No.
We've had the same fire district or like.
Really?
I mean, we're 90 square miles and we put it all out. And there's no like addition to what we always had. We always had boundary lines. Those were set forth, I think, 60s, 70s.
Yeah,
Right.
those things are kind of really
Or they're untouchable, just as.
and if somebody did want to change it, they have to petition the state fire.
Right. Okay, thank you.
We're volunteer based, so in this area, it is just. People like me that live in this town my whole life, we don't get them anymore. It's, you know, we get retirees or we get people that move here that they're just looking to retire. It's just, it's changed and it's evolving, but it's even the way we have to operate is. We're getting slammed, we're getting busier and busier.
That's what I'm saying. If you would think that they would try to share the load among the other departments that aren't as busy.
The thing that has changed, I spoke about the district lines not changing, so it's still building. But as things do change, as development happens down towards the Bethany, down like the Beach Club area and Millville by the city out toward the Roxana district line. We don't have the manpower we used to have years ago. So all fire departments, all departments in the state of Delaware are going to be way down. So if it's any type of all where there's a real possibility of something going on or somebody being in danger, it's more than one company. So really the closest company is responding.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's kind of how it's.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? No? All right, we're going to move to citizens privilege on the items of the pre-published agenda for discussion and consideration or items subsequently added, which there hasn't been any, to the pre-published agenda for discussion and consideration. So it's now open to anyone who would like to ask a question about anything that has gone on before now. Do we have anybody on the YouTube? No. So any questions you want to ask? Now's the time. Anybody?
You can, yes.
You have a question?
I don't have any questions.
You have a comment?
I'm just happy to be represented on the to help out the town, with the elections, on the election.
Okay, well, we're happy.
If I'm approved.
We're happy to have you volunteer. Thank you. All right, since there aren't any questions, we're going to close the citizens privilege and move on to new business. Introduction of the fiscal year 24 operating budget for fiscal year ending April 30, 2024. It's ordinance to be introduced. Is anyone gonna give a summary?
Yeah, we kind of already have, but what you have before you is what allows us to move forward with the budget process with the anticipation that, we'd be at the, April meeting, April 11th meeting with a public hearing where additional questions or changes could be made. Right now, what you have before you, the ordinance matches the proposed budget and the budget that we discussed during the workshop. So if you approve this, we'll move forward and we'll go to public hearing with the status of the budget as outlined in this ordinance.
I'm confused a little bit. We're not approving anything, right?
You're not approving the budget, but we're introducing the ordinance has to be introduced in advance to the public hearing.
Okay,
So I guess mayor and council accept it and.
all right, I need a motion to introduce the operating budget for fiscal year ending April 30, 2024.
Motion to introduce the operating budget for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
So passes. All right, moving on to the introduction of the revision of the capital expenditure budget. This year is April 30, 2024 to 2028.
Same thing.
All right, I need a motion.
Motion to introduce the revision of the capital budget expenditure for fiscal year April 30th, 2024 through 2028.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible voting on the appointment of Gail Driver to the Board of Elections.
Yes,
Town clerk.
Gail is going to complete the term of Pat Sharp, who had to resign from the board due to her husband's health.
Okay,
So I'm looking for approval of Gail. to the term of 2025.
okay. I need a motion to approve Gail Driver to the Board of Elections.
Motion to approve the appointment of Gail Driver to the Board of Elections.
Want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It passes. Moving on to discussion, consideration, and possible voting on appointment of Betty Meredith to the Board of Elections.
Motion to approve.
Wait.
That's fine. Betty is going to be joining us. She's here tonight. She's going to be joining us on the Board of Elections if you so approve. She's filling the space of Nicole Campus, who was out of the country and could not vote to the election this year. The term will also expire May of 2025.
Okay. And she's already told us how much she appreciates having been volunteered.
I can't hear you.
I said you've already told us how much you appreciate working with the town for the Board of Elections.
Here you asked the question and I knew that she said a question, so that's what I answered. I thought.
You did.
Thank you. No problem, you know. I do well with it.
Okay. So I need a motion to approve Betty Meredith to the Board of Elections.
Motion to approve Betty Meredith to the Board of Elections.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So passes. Thank you. Discussion, consideration, and possible voting on the annual grant request for an Emergency Services Enhancement Fund for the Millville Volunteer Fire Department.
Yes, Mayor and Council, you already had your presentation. The funds have been included in the annual budget. FY 23 budget that we will end May 1st. So the funds are included there. You've heard the presentation. I think you've asked all the questions you had. So now you just need to vote on it.
Any questions?
So town manager, I just want to clarify for the record, what they're voting on is the $85,000 grant for the
80,000.
$80,000 grant for the piece of equipment.
That it's the documentation that of grant application that the Millville Fire Company submitted.
And we're not addressing the emergency services enhancement
No.
matter today. So that's, I just wanted the council to be clear on that.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Then I need a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the annual grant request for the Millville Fire Department up to $80,000.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 So passes. Thank you very much. Now we go to the second citizens privilege. That you may now ask questions about anything that's just been discussed.
I do have a question.
Please step up to the podium.
Yes. I'm Betty Meredith from Country Village. I have a question. Since I live across the road from the police department, and you mentioned that Chesapeake is putting in natural gas, do you know if there's a possibility in the next couple of years maybe that we may be getting it across the road?
I have no reason to believe that at this time. I know that Bear Trap and the Freeman Foundation worked for a long time to get to this point. And the reason we are going is because we have always been aligned with them and serviced through their propane.
Yeah.
I don't have any communication about it expanding, although we are in contact with Chesapeake Utilities and I can possibly inquire about that, but nothing has been suggested at this
Well,
time.
the problem is our entire development, as these other developments are gas, are propane. At this time, our development is not. We don't have.
You're all
100%.
electric.
I have electric next door to me, and I mean, we're just kind of hodgepodge. I put propane in when we built our homes. We built our home about 32 years ago. And I wanted hot forced air, and that was the only way you could get it was with propane. So I didn't want a heat pump, so that was our choice at the time. That was just my own question. I just wondered if there was any possibility that they bring a line up the road maybe, and we could somehow probably cost us a fortune.
Well, the line is going down the road. I think Bear Trap was positioned a little bit different in that they had underground piping for the propane. So it made it
Exactly.
easier.
That's what I need, because everyone had it, so therefore they had the propane tanks in their ground. I had a tank in the ground too, but
Well, no, they had, Bear Trap had a tank farm.
yeah, right.
And which the pipes pumped the gas from these big huge tanks to all the homes.
Right,
Different than having individual tanks at the home.
exactly.
So that's a little more costly. And I think it might be a while before they do that.
I don't think it will be in my lifetime. I think maybe my kids may have to work. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, then we are going to move to executive session for legal advice with respect to litigation, personnel, land acquisition, and sale of town assets. So at this point, we're going to take a break. And we'll come back as soon as we finish our executive session. If you don't feel like staying, you don't have to. Thank you for coming.
Except for my bride.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. One person has to stay.
We need a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we move to executive session.
Oh,
Yeah, we need a motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
we're moving back into session.
Motion to adjourn from executive session.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
So we're now back into public session.
so I need a motion, well, do you have to say anything about the executive session?
The executive session began at 4:02. It ended at 4:48. No action was taken.
Okay. So now I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So passes.